Hello, this is Arlo Kilpatrick, Theory.Cunophile, and I just wanted to make a video in response to a series of comments on Aluzky's channel. Aluzky being the zoosexual activist most prominent on YouTube. Uh, these are comments by a woman called Somalia Coreign, and she is accusing Aluzky of some pretty weird things, although she and I probably do agree in certain respects. I'm going to read out the comments out loud because, why would I make you guys read? And here we go. The first one is this. It shocks me of the manipulative role this terrible practice takes. Here you are, a freed, educated adult human being, purchasing a puppy from a breeder, growing it up to deprive it from naturally mating with its own kind, or neutering it so it would not have that urge, so it can be sexually frustrated to the point it will mound anything. Then with that you use it so it can preform as your butt plug, an animal that you purchased who is at the mental understanding of a mentally challenged adult human being or a toddler. You are pending on love when dogs themselves are not monogamous animals and do not understand girlfriend-boyfriend relationships. This comment I, for the most part, agree with, in the sense that if a person is taking an animal and purposefully depriving them of sexual activity so that they become sexually frustrated and then attempt to mount anything, including human beings, then yes, that practice is wrong. However, I don't think that most zoophiles do this. I think that most zoophiles, given the opportunity for their animals to have sex with others of their own kind, allow them to do so. Aluzky himself actually allows them to do so, and he has a couple of videos, not on YouTube but elsewhere, you can find them yourself, where basically he is playing around sexually with other female dogs, and his boyfriend, as he calls it, continues to participate. So, to me, this is a non-issue. To me, it seems that so long as you are willing to allow such opportunities of natural mating when they are available, allowing the option of the sort of artificial interspecies mating isn't a problem, and in fact may be beneficial to the animal's health, way more so than, for example, neutering them and letting them not have any sexual activity whatsoever. I don't have any evidence of that fact, so go ahead and criticize me for that. But I really do think that an animal with a healthy sex life with a human being is better off in terms of their physical and mental health than the so-called normal animal who is neutered or spayed just to prevent their reproduction. Alright, next comment. It shocked... No, that's the first comment. The next comment is this, and just so you know, I'm reading these as written, not as they would be if they were grammatically correct. I mean, I can criticize her grammar and spelling all day, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Her argument does. Cannot live on their own and do not have a choice in the matter of whom they can mate with or live with. How can manipulating an animal's natural instincts to sniff out a female, play with her, and ask her permission to mate with her, depriving them for your own selfish sexual wants, and their frustrations so it can have sex with you be love? Is the delusional love you understand as a human who knows matting with your own kind the same thing you force on your animals? A creature who doesn't understand monogamy and was restricted from its natural innate instincts? It's your human emotions you are desiring from a human that you are taking from a completely different creature with a completely different mind, the mind of a toddler. Alright, she's mentioned this twice now, and she's going to mention it several times past this. But let me just clear this up right now. Dogs do not have minds equivalent to the mind of a toddler. There is a very important difference between the mind of an adult animal, a dog in particular, and a toddler. Namely, the toddler is going to grow up and have memories and thoughts and feelings of its own. The dog may have very simple thoughts, but certainly isn't going to have thoughts of the complexity that human thoughts have. And so we don't necessarily need to worry about damaging them psychologically the way we would for a toddler. Also, keep in mind that the animal, when it has reached an appropriate age, is going to want to have sex and has every right, in my opinion, to do so. We may disagree with each other on with whom they can have sex, but I still think that a healthy sexual urge is a natural thing, and more importantly, the domestication of these species makes them far closer with human beings than they would have been in the wild. I would call this a natural outgrowth of our relationship with the dog. The way I see it, if we feel attracted to one another, as we surely do in certain cases, there's no reason to stop each other from exploring these attractions. Alright, so next comment. If you are a pervert as you admitted, no one is going to promote you. Face it, people in their right minds, like gay straights, put you and pedophiles at the same level. A sexual relationship that has unequal power and involves a person taking advantage of another. In relation to doggy neutering, the easiest and more natural way that humans do to themselves is a vasectomy. But even in that page, there was no benefits that helped the dog when it wasn't neutered. It was just a ranter on a bad page. When I looked up neutering benefits, I saw that dogs were less agitated, less stressed, and have a reduced risk of cancer. But I also saw hormone issues. So I agree. Leave the animal's genitals alone. Let them be natural. Alright. This is the part that annoys me most about these comments. A vasectomy may be natural in the sense that it leaves the animal's hormone levels alone and allows them to develop properly. But it's not natural. It is a surgery. It is a surgical procedure for preventing sperm from getting out of a person's balls. So, what is... So, stop saying somehow that the correct thing to do is to give these animals a vasectomy. And I would agree that giving them a vasectomy would be the best thing to do if you don't want them to breed, but you still want them to have natural sexual urges. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is calling it somehow natural. It's not. Alright, so the next comment is just about keeping the animal's natural sexual urges, keeping a male and a female in the house, so with the male having his tubes tied, so that they can experience natural sex without actually breeding. And I would agree that this would be ideal, but it's not the way that things work. Most people don't want to have two large dogs running around. Sometimes one is all we can handle. After all, I've heard it said before that two dogs take the work that you would think three dogs take, and three dogs take the work of seven that you would think seven takes. So I'm going to skip that comment. You can go to Aluzky's channel and read it if you'd like. Alright, next comment pretty much repeats itself. Vasectomy is the natural doggy condom. That lets the dog keep their natural sexual nature they desire with their own kind, without the risk of anal cancer, rectal tearing, infection, and without any of the issues associated with neutering or the puppies.